Let's run it back with the 1995-1996 Air Jordan 11 Concord. Welcome back to the channel. And if you enjoy my stories, if you like the throwback stuff that I'm talking about, why don't you hit that subscribe button? And if you have any comments or anything else you want to talk about, hit me up in the comments below. Now today, we're talking about the Air Jordan 11 Concord. Originally released in 1995 and worn by Michael Jordan. And the first time we saw this shoe was in the 1995 playoffs against the Orlando Magic. This was a crazy time because the internet just started. So there was very few places that you could see or even talk about what was on Michael Jordan's feet. So the only way to see this shoe was to zoom in on your TV and see what Michael's wearing. Well, what I was doing, I was calling my buddies saying, are you watching the same thing I'm watching? Are you seeing what is on Michael Jordan's feet? Michael Jordan coming out with the number 45 with the Concord 11s on, not knowing what they were. So the very next day, what are we doing? We're searching MySpace, we're searching Sports Illustrated magazines, we're going into Foot Locker and asking the employees directly, what is on Michael Jordan's feet? The very next Bulls Magic playoff game, Michael Jordan switches up to the 23 and comes out again in the Air Jordan 11 Concord. And we finally get a zoomed in view, thanks to Ahmad Rashad, letting us know what was on Michael Jordan's feet. He's telling us that he's wearing the new Air Jordan 11 that will be released at the end of 1995 and into the 1996 season. As Ahmad Rashad notes that his shoe does say the number 45 on the heel, but he will be wearing the number 23 jersey. And we all know that Michael looks better in the number 23, even though I didn't mind the number 45, but we all know he plays better in number 23. Unfortunately, the Chicago Bulls lost the 1995 playoffs to the Orlando Magic, and the Orlando Magic went on to play the Houston Rockets in the 1995 NBA Finals. I don't know if you know this, but in 1995, the Concord that Michael Jordan was wearing, he loved wearing it so much he wanted to wear it in the playoff game, but unfortunately, the white and black colorway was not the league standard for the shoe color for the playoffs. The shoes that he had to wear at that time during the playoffs were all black, and these ones were all white. So Jordan Brand, or Nike at the time, and made the upper white part black for the remainder of the 1995 NBA playoffs, as you can see here with a few photos of Michael Jordan playing in the now called Space Jam Air Jordan 11. But us OG heads from the early 90s know him as the black playoff Air Jordan 11. At the end of 1995, they finally released these to the public, and they're on the shelves at your local Champ Sports or Foot Locker. And we rushed to the stores to see these in hand, these gorgeous shoes. At first, most people like me were like, oh, I don't know about that shiny patent leather because they look like Charlie Chaplin kind of shoe. But as the days went on and seeing these in hand and seeing that clear sole, that carbon fiber shank plate, that patent leather, the design of the shoe, the shape of the shoe in 1995, it really blew the Michael Jordan fans away. And in my opinion, this shoe is the greatest shoe ever made, which propelled sneakers and Air Jordans into the powerhouse it is today. This shoe is guaranteed to be the greatest shoe ever made, and the greatest shoe that changed sneaker culture forever. Unfortunately, in 1995, I didn't get my hands on the original Concord. I did later on a beat-up pair, but when it first released, I never got the original 1995 pair. I did get the 1996 playoff black red. That was my very first Air Jordan 11 in 1996. I beat the hell out of that shoe, so I had to re-up on the second run release of the Air Jordan 11, which came out with the Concord, the black red, and I believe the cool gray, all came out in the year 2001. And the 2001 version of the Concord 11 was amazing. The cut, the patent leather, in my opinion, I think it had a little bit better quality than the 1995, better shape. Unfortunately, I do not have the 2001 pair anymore. I did sell that to buy these pair because I wanted a pair that was wearable. My 2001 pair was a little bit beat up. Now that I sell these shoes, sometimes I regret selling them. 2001, I do regret. I do have a good story of the 2001. Up here in Canada, we have a sports store similar to Dick's Sporting Goods or Shields, I guess. It's called Sport Check. And at that time in 2001, up here in Canada, Air Jordans would sit for a good amount of time. And the Air Jordan Concord 2001 and the Air Jordan 11 Black Red 2001 both dropped on sale for $99.99 on the clearance rack here in Winnipeg, Manitoba at Sport Check. If you know me, $99 is a great price. I bought both pairs and wore them to the ground and wore them a lot for basketball. Just so you know, I have two favorite pairs of basketball shoes that I always wear for basketball, and that is the Air Jordan 11 and the Air Penny 4. Those are by far my favorite shoes to play basketball in, and I still wear them for basketball now. I don't play as much basketball as I used to back in the day, so those are my go-to shoes, the Air Jordan 11 and the Air Penny 4. To our delight, in 1996, the Chicago Bulls went on to win 72 wins and 10 losses. And most of the season, Michael Jordan was in the Air Jordan 11. 1996, the Chicago Bulls were on top of the world. Dennis Rodman was probably one of the most popular athletes, most popular pop culture icons of all time of that year. And Michael Jordan was the greatest player in the world. So almost every poster and every magazine cover and every Beckett, every sports card you can imagine, most of the photos taken that year, Michael Jordan was wearing the Air Jordan Concord. Reason for that is about 90% of the season, Michael Jordan was in this shoe. Why he was in this shoe is his favorite shoe. He loved playing in it. There's a few photos of Michael Jordan throughout the season where he switched up to the Space Jam colorway, but most of the season he was in the white Concord. And you know, into the playoffs in 1996, that's when he started wearing black-red playoff. I know technically these aren't an Air Jordan Concord. These are the Air Jordan 11 Defining Moments package that released in 2005, and one of the best double pack releases of all time in my opinion. And this one is made in perfect shape. Now in 2005, before websites started selling Jordans online, it was more of we got to go to a store and line up and try to get the release. So in 2005, a bunch of friends of mine, I would say there was probably about 10 of us, took a trip from Winnipeg, Manitoba, all the way down to Minneapolis, Minnesota for the 2005 release of the Countdown Pack. The first ever double pack shoe that was only released in the US or only released in a few stores. And it was not released anywhere in our city or close by. So we all planned on a trip down to Minneapolis, Minnesota. And we got up, I don't know, like 4 or 5 in the morning. Went over to Mall of America, lined up for arguably the greatest price point of a double pack for $300 American for 2 pairs of shoes. For 2 pairs of great shoes. 2 pairs of shoes honoring the 1991 NBA championship and the 1996 NBA championship. How is this not the greatest double pack of all time? These shoes, the quality of these original 2005 retros were perfect. And just so you all know, mine has not split on the Jordan 6. So to continue my story, we were up 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning to line up at the Mall of America. The mall finally opened. We were all at separate doors at the Mall of America waiting for the doors to open, and we all rushed in. We all picked a spot. We were all like, okay, you go to Foot Locker, you go to Champs, you go to Foot Action, whatever other store was in there, and we all lined up. No word of a lie. There was no craziness. Like, there was a bunch of people that were waiting, but you think there was a line when we got to the store. There was no line. There was people waiting, but there was no crazy line. And we got in there. We had opportunity to buy our size. We all left happy. We all got our size. A few of our buddies, they just came for the trip. And unfortunately, they didn't buy the pack when they had a chance. And I know they're regretting it now. I know they're regretting not buying the pack. at $300, they could have kept it on ice for a few years and sold it for, $1,500 or whatever. But at the time, we were just so excited to get a shoe that we wanted back since 2001, easy, and we all had the time of our lives. We got the shoe that we wanted. We got the size we wanted. We all went out to the club. We all went around Mall of America. We did everything in that city. We actually went and some of us went off the beaten path and went to this mom and pop store named Friedman's. And back in the early 2000s, this place was like a gold mine. It was pretty much like how this lost and found Air Jordan 1 is telling the story of going to a mom and pop store and seeing shoes just sitting there collecting dust. This Friedman store, if you ever been in Minnesota, this Friedman store was ridiculous, full of old stock, and it was amazing. It was a gold mine. Now it's not like that anymore, but back then it was crazy. So yeah, we went off the beaten path, that Friedman store. We went all over Minneapolis. We were so pumped that we got the Air Jordan 11. So as we're coming back over the border, driving home, border security asked us, well, how was your trip? Where you were? Do you bring anything back with you? We all just said we brought sneakers and Krispy Kreme donuts in the trunk. So they pulled us over and brought us in and checked out our stuff and noticed that all we had were these gold boxes of shoes and like 10 boxes of Krispy Kreme donuts, bringing them back over the border, which to me was hilarious. That is one of the greatest trips I've ever been on. You guys all know who you are that we went on that trip. And if you watch my videos, please comment below on some memories you had on that trip, because that was one of my greatest sneaker trips of all time, and I will never forget it, and it's one for the books. I'm going to skip the 2011 Air Jordan 11 men's version. I hated that one. The cut was wrong. The patent leather was all wrong. The box was wrong. Everything they did on that shoe was wrong. The only thing I have of the Air Jordan 11 Concord is this baby version. The baby Air Jordan 11 Concord, which I also don't like this Velcro strap on the baby. I know it's easier for a baby, but it just doesn't look right. I do love on the kids version that Jumpman written in that style of the sole. I think that is so cool. It looks so good. The Air Jordan 11 Concord 2011. My opinion, the 2018 is a perfect reproduction of the 1995 Air Jordan 11. The cut of the patent leather, they improved that from the 2011 one, which looked awful. Some people hate it and some people love it. I love the 45. I think it looks great on there. It takes me back to 1995, seeing it for the very first time on the TV, and Michael wearing these, and you're squinting trying to see what he's wearing. I love the 45 on the back. Most of the OGs, I think, like the 45 on the back. I know the younger people don't like the higher cut of the patent leather, but that is what it's supposed to look like, is the higher cut, not the lower cut that they did in 2011. This version is arguably the greatest retro. You got the 1995, you got the 2001, and you have these. 2011, to me, don't exist. I don't like them, but these are perfect. Carbon fiber, that beautiful outsole with the pods, the purple pods, the herringbone traction. Just love the clear sole to see that Jumpman right through the bottom. Takes me right back to 1995. Came in that Air Jordan original 1995 box. Soon as I got these, it took me back. It gave me other memories. This shoe opening up for the very first time, as this was the very first shoe I bought with my own money, was the Concord 11 in 2001. My mom gave me an extra, I think, $14 for the taxes that I owed, but this was the very first shoe that I bought with my own money. I hope that we get maybe a few more releases, a few more original releases of the Air Jordan 11. You know what? I don't mind the new colorways. I don't mind the cherry releasing, but it's not my cup of tea. It's not something I'm going to rush out and buy, or buy if it goes on sale. I would not buy it. It's not my style. I do like the originals. I buy shoes, or I buy sneakers that take me back to play. I'm older now, so I don't buy shoes for technical purposes to play basketball. The sneakers that I'm buying are either versions from the past, retros that bring me back in time. Any of the new stuff I don't even really look at. It's all retro to me. If you're enjoying what I have to say, and if you enjoy the content that I'm bringing, don't forget to subscribe. And you know what? I like to give a shout out to everybody who is following me on Instagram at Foresight23, and everybody who is subscribed to my channel. I really appreciate it. And I hope that you're enjoying my content. And if you are, let me know in the comments below. And until next time,